Oh yeah, of course. I'm excited.
Hey y'all, hey, it's another episode of Bonafide Her Podcast featuring the one and only Devin Cooper. Beep, 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 beep,
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
beep. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing okay. One day at a time. That's my new slogan. One step at a time. One day at a time. How
Oh,
about you?
I know that's right. You better let them know. So let's get it started. So, Devin, can you tell us like your sports story and how you got to your journey?
Okay, so try not to blab too much. So I'm from upstate New York, a small town called Newfield. It's a Class C school. So in New York, we have double A, B, C, D. So I'm like the second smallest size school, class of 54. Um, Not very many people in my school or my town or like my area really play college sports, but like I fell in love with basketball probably seventh, eighth grade, I think. It was like I was a football player my whole life, and I thought that's what I really wanted to do. But my high school didn't end up having football, so I just kind of fell in love with basketball. And probably since I was super young, I've always loved it, but I really fell in love with the game at that time and really started to grow. Had a pretty decent high school career, won a sectional title. Um, and so I went to states. We lost in the state regionals. After college, after high school, I had a couple Division 1 looks. Belmont and Campbell were interested in me going into my senior year. The third day of practice, I come down on my friend's foot and break my whole ankle, and I was in a hard cast for 4 months. They actually said I was going to be out for the season, but I ended up coming back like 4 weeks early because I was literally up every day till 6 a.m. doing like the exercises like literally every day. Ended up coming back. It was kind of a crazy movie story, to be honest. Like I end up getting hurt. My team goes undefeated while I was out. I come back like 3 games into my injury like return. We end up losing like a state ranked game to a crazy school like about 25, 30 minutes away. And then we both end up going undefeated the rest of the season, and we meet them in the championship, and I have a great game. It's like it's a big arena, like both our whole towns were there. It was crazy. One of the craziest games I've ever been in still to this day, one of the craziest games I've ever been in my life. End up winning, with a sectional title. So that was pretty cool. Ended up having to go Division 3. I went to Cuca College my freshman year. Um, Honestly, probably my favorite school I've ever went to. But I think me and the coach at the time, looking back on it, I honestly should have stayed. But at the time, I was just immature, and the coach was like really like old school, like really really old school, and I just wasn't ready for that at 18 years old. So I ended up transferring to a junior college, Corning Community College, which was like one of the best JUCO schools in the country. Played pretty well there. Unfortunately, I had to take 2 years off because of like financial and like all the transferring and everything. Worked 3 jobs, moved out of my parents' house, made my own money and stuff like that. And then I went to a camp in Connecticut, and the school I ended up graduating from, Plymouth State. Their coach was there. Spent 3 years there, and um, it was a pretty cool experience. Met some of like my favorite people in the world at that school. Like I kind of finally found a home because the first 2 schools I transferred after 1 year, so like I still have friends from those schools, but it's not as tight of a bond as I had for 3 years with those guys at Plymouth, and um, something I'll definitely like. I still talk to them all to this day. Some of my best friends, really. Um, but I always kind of had a plan to play pro basketball. Like that's was just kind of my thought. Like as a kid, you want to go to the NBA. Like that's like your obviously the main goal. Everybody wants to play in the league, but as you get older, you start to realize that there's different outlets to playing basketball. So um, I kind of was the only person that really believed in this dream. Like I remember during COVID, I bought a pro basketball, like a pro ball, just to like start training with, like to like manifest that type of future for myself. And people kind of looked at me crazy, like what, like whatever. And so I kind of just put myself on, went to a bunch of combines, found an agency. Unfortunately, it didn't really work out with them, but they did help me get to Charlotte, where I played in TBL, which was like my first like real opportunity, which was like one of the coolest experiences of my life. Like by far the best team I've ever been on. Like that team had some That's probably the best talent I've ever been around. The best practices I've ever had in my life was in Charlotte. Like Red is insane. Like, Tev is crazy. Like Hunt was super good. Like CJ super good. Chuck was good. Like I feel like there was not one bad person on our team. Like we had legit 11 starters. Like that was by far the best team I've ever been on. So like definitely still talk to those guys too. Like I miss them. Bobby too. I didn't forget Bobby. Like we had so many great players, but like the owner just wasn't a good person. So like we kind of had to crumble that up. But then I ended up going to a couple more combines, and an alumni from my school saw me at a combine, and he helped me get to Scotland last year, which was my first year or my second year pro. And that was a cool experience, like kind of lower level, but I knew that going in, it was kind of just to get my film and to like prove to agents and teams that I can play in the system, play overseas, and my college stats weren't like jumping off the paper. So I kind of had to get some like notoriety, and I played really well, probably the best basketball I've probably played. Very like a lot of confidence was built last year, more than I really cared about the stats of the film or anything like that. Like it really proved to me like what I really could do if I was given the opportunity. So that was pretty great. And then this summer, last summer I was kind of just like working out, waiting for a word, and then probably September, the opportunity where I am now, Morocco, popped up, and it's definitely been a roller coaster. It's definitely been kind of a rough little situation, but at the end of the day, like I'm still blessed. I'm still living the dream. I thank God every day that I'm still here. Like, although like it definitely hasn't been the best experience, but I played in some crazy games, some crazy atmospheres, and I'm just excited to see what comes next year. I'm about to go home in the next couple days, get back in the lab, grind, and I think the sky's the limit. So I'm just kind of keep pushing.
Oh, I know you. I'm happy to be back home.
Oh yeah, for sure. I miss a lot of things. Like one of my teammates was like, "Oh, what are you like so most excited for?" I'm like, Chipotle, hibachi, my mom's lasagna. My mom's lasagna is crazy. Like, and you know how moms are, like the first like 2-3 weeks, like I'm like a 3-year-old kid again. Like she's like, "What do you want to eat? Like, let's go. Anything you want. Like, I'll make anything you want." So I'm hyped for that for sure.
So my question for you is like, what would you say is the misconception of like playing at like the D3, the lower level conferences? Because I know a lot of people like to downplay like the lower level divisions, and like to praise like the high division schools like D1. So what would you say is the misconception of like the D3, D2s, NAIAs, and JUCO level of
Uh,
places?
in my opinion, I think there's dogs at every level. I think even though you're Division 3, there's still 0.1% playing college, and I'm not going to take away from the guys who play Power Five. They're Power Five for a reason, and like there is like a gap. But I think the misconception, the main one, is like that it's a talent gap. I think it's really an athleticism and IQ gap more than just like who can really hoop. Like I played with some guys who could play high level Division 1. I personally believe that I had the opportunity to play at least at like a mid major or a low major school at a high school I was given the opportunity to, and I never got the chance. So I played with some guys who have crazy stats, crazy resumes, crazy film that I know and that I played with. So I mean, like I said, the main misconception I think is that it's just a talent thing. Like obviously there's a little bit of a talent gap, but I think the main thing is athleticism and then IQ, because that's kind of more important than just skill. Because like when you really get on the court, if you really think about it, I would probably say 75 to 80% of the Division 3s, like kids can go get buckets. Like that's not the hard part. It's like if you're not the bucket, how can you get buckets? If you're not the biggest guy, how can you get buckets? If you're not the fastest guy, how can you get buckets? And I think at the Division 1 level, that's where the disparity is more than just the talent.
So what got you into like, being an advocate for women's sports? Because I know you said like, we were talking about Breonna Stewart not too long ago, and you're like, oh, she's from upstate. But what got you into advocating for women's sports, especially like
So
basketball?
yeah, my mom played Division 1, so that's the first thing. So it's kind of funny as a kid. like she grew up in Rochester. My mom and dad both grew up in Rochester, so um, I was there pretty much every weekend my entire life, and every time I would ever go to any basketball related thing or like anything that anyone knew who my mom was, all I heard about how good she was. Like, your mom was the truth. Your mom was the truth. Like every single time. Like it was kind of getting annoying because like I wasn't that good yet. So I was like, damn, like I'm not on that trajectory. And like my grandfather had like this like whole like shrine of her all of her trophies and like the newspapers and stuff. And like my mom was like she couldn't play in the WBA for sure, but like, that was like when it first started, and she wanted to have a kid, and she had injuries and stuff. So I mean, from the beginning, just like respecting it from that aspect. Like my mom was a women's player, so I'm never gonna be like down on women's basketball for sure. And then to transition from that to finding my own female favorite players, like I'm a huge Maya Moore fan. Like I remember when she came out of high school, and like I was her freshman year of UConn, and I was like super into it. So I've been watching the WNBA finals and WNBA games since I was super young. And then also, I mean, a lot of guys try to like downplay women's sports or women's basketball, and I've seen Division 1 players and NBA, WNBA players like in person, and I've seen them kill guys. So I'm not saying they're just good for women, but they're good for like just in general. Like I'll never forget. Like this is probably, I'm not gonna lie, when I was on the side of the other guys, where I'm like, they're just like women's basketball, whatever, doing their thing. And then I remember, I think it was my sophomore year, me and my friends played in this like little charity thing at a college near me, and one of my like it was like a co-ed thing, and like a couple of my friends that were girls played with us or whatever, and they brought one of her friends, and she went to George Washington, and she had like 45 on college dudes, like, and they're playing like for real, like, and she's 45 with a guy's ball, like. I was like, oh, like, and she wasn't even like, and she didn't even play at George Washington. So imagine, like, I'm telling you, like, she was that good, and she barely played at George Washington. So like, and then in my area, there's a lot of good, like a bunch of Division 2 and Division 1 girls, like from my area that like I've always respected and stuff too. Um, there's a girl like in from Rochester. I'm not sure if you know who she is, Sierra Dillard. She is one of the coldest hoopers I've ever seen. Like if you got some time, look up Sierra Dillard highlights. She went to Buffalo and she got drafted to the WNBA, but she's overseas right now getting crazy. Like she's nasty. I remember I went to a little run in Rochester and she was killing dudes, like talking to them and all that. Like they were like playing good defense and she was talking to them like guard up, like you can't check me. Like, oh, like, it was crazy. I was like, wow, I've never seen a girl like in person like really give dudes that like that energy back, and that's when I've always had that respect, you know. So from now on, like from then on, I've like always been an advocate. As much as some guys like to talk down about it, I love the WNBA, and I think and women's college basketball, I think it's an upward trend for sure, and I think the respect will definitely be hopefully as loud as the disrespect was once someday for sure.
Yeah, because like you've always heard like say the that girl the women belong in the kitchen and stuff and all this stuff, like just so many demeaning things, and it's like some of the women that play are actually better than some of the men that are playing, or even men that are on the bench that don't see any playing action. So it's like, you know, but I think we deserve the same, women's basketball players in sports deserve the same opportunity as
For
the
sure.
men. But of course, when you have, all the revenue issues and stuff, so that's always that big problem. But I think, like we were discussing, like it's gonna increase. Just honestly, you're gonna have to take the right support, because yes, there's so many, like I've heard already, like some male athletes that say they would love to invest in a WNBA team if it's in their city or whatever. Like example, Jason Tatum from St. Louis said, he would love to invest in a WNBA team in St. Louis. So like if there's a possibility that more male athletes that love the game would invest in women's sports, invest in women's basketball, and see how amazing it is, I think that would be great too. Like I think that's the one of the biggest like things.
Yeah,
So
and I think unfortunately it's just one of those things where it's not fair, but it's just going to take time. And I think, like I said, I think it's an upward trajectory. I think, excuse me, a lot of great hoopers are already in the WNBA, and I think a lot of great hoopers are coming up in this next couple classes that will transcend the game. Like I think the splash that Caitlin made, I think Juju and Paige are gonna do double that. Like I think Paige is gonna come in and tear it up next year. I think Juju Watkins is gonna come in 2 years, hopefully kill. I think the girl from UCLA is gonna come in next year and kill. I think 2 or 3 girls from South Carolina gonna come in, kill. Like I think a lot more girls, and obviously there's more than that, but I'm saying those are the girls that are getting that most hype and that most love, and I think they're gonna push the game up more than it already is. Cameron Brink got hurt early last year. She was killing before she got hurt. So I mean, Unrivaled coming in is gonna be a big thing. Like I think that was a big success. So like I feel like, unfortunately, like, I'm not saying that women should wait or like that's like I'm just saying, unfortunately, I think it's just gonna take a little time, but I think it's getting there. I really do. Not as fast as it should be, but it's getting there for sure.
I have to ask this question for you because a lot of people think that when, college athletes, they have it so easy. But I need you to like explain what would you say is the misconception of like the day of the life of a college athlete?
So I mean, for Division 3, it's a little bit different. I would say probably Division 1. I can't really speak for them as much. I feel like they definitely have maybe a more rigorous schedule. But even for Division 3, like um, I feel like, so how I would explain to somebody is Division 1 has more access, more responsibility. I think Division 3 or division or like younger or lower level schools have less opportunity, less stress. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for me, for example, like I had to sneak into my gym at night, put bottle caps in the door, sneak into my gym to get shots up, like late night, like literally, like we didn't have like Division 1 guys. They have keys 24/7. They have shooting machines. My shooting machine was broke all 3 years. All that at Plymouth. Like, um, like what else? Like I mean, we got a new weight room, but like our weight room was super small my first year. Like we don't have three coaches that can just go do all kind of stuff. Now, when I left, the year after I left, they built a huge like multi-million-dollar Division 1 facility. But me specifically, when I was there at Plymouth or at Cuca, super small weight room, nice weight room, but super small. We had to share with every other gym or every other team. At Corning, it was like medium size. It was okay. And then Plymouth, like the first year was super small, nice weight room, but like really small. Like you could barely fit our whole team in there. And then they ended up expanding and making it bigger. I think that's a big thing. I feel like on a bigger campus, you're kind of like secluded. Like if I've been to Syracuse and Cornell, there's like athletic wings of the campus. You know what I mean? So it's easier to get there, kind of like it might be a longer drive or something like that, but it's kind of like secluded to your place. Like for example, I live by Cornell. Cornell, it's the football stadium, the hockey rink, the baseball field, the basketball gym, and then their practice facility, all within one little strip. So if you have classes over there, you can go get all your work in, weight room, all that type of stuff in one space. But in Division 3, it's like football, basketball, baseball, soccer, hockey, women's hockey, men's hockey, all have to go to one place. So it's like kind of less opportunity, more stress. You know what I'm saying? For them, it's like a little less stress, way more opportunity because they can kind of schedule their stuff out. If you have a lot of busy schedules, you can fit your stuff, your basketball, your athletics into that schedule. But Division 3, it's like you have to like kind of force fit your schedule. Like if I have class till 3 and we only got the gym until 6, I have to go in there at 5:30, put a bottle cap in the door, and then come in at 11. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have time to do anything else. It kind of just depends on where you go, but I mean, you got to make the most of what you got. You know what I mean?
I'm still shocked how, like, first of all, you said your favorite player growing up or watching was Maya Moore because Maya Moore to me is my goat. What was
Yeah.
it about Maya Moore that just really stood out about her to you?
I mean, I had a crush on her for sure. That was number one. That was number one. I'm not gonna lie. I was young. I was like, damn. I was like, man, she's fine. But that, I loved like she played with so much like flash. I feel like at that time, like I mean, this is not talk down the women's game, but at that time, I think there wasn't very many women that were like playing with that like swag that she had. Like she was so like she was just different. Like shooting a lot of threes, shooting a lot of jump shots. Like I remember her layup package. She used to do this thing where she used to scoop every single time she goes to the basket. And a lot of girls weren't like really doing that type of stuff. And so like her, honestly, there's a couple girls I actually liked back then too. I'm not gonna just pick her, but her, Diana Taurasi were like huge. I used to love like super weird Stephanie Dolson. I think like she's super super nice. Like she's still good now. She's kind of like a role player now, but like that whole Maya Moore team or the Maya Moore team that era, like Tiffany Hayes, like that she was really good. Like you said, Mariah Jefferson the other day. She's kind of like later on. They had a bunch of dogs on that team too, and I feel like also at that time there was a lot of girls like I feel like I said before, it's kind of like a patience thing. Women's college basketball at that time was like transcending to where it is now. Like I think a lot of people see the Angel Reeses and the Caitlin Clarks and don't really pay homage to like the girls that really brought it up. Like that Baylor squad back then, Oshie Sims and Brittany Griner, super tough. Like Skylar Diggins brought that team up super tough. Like Stanford, the Gumake sisters, super tough. Like there was like obviously at that point it was UConn and everybody else, but everybody else was still competitive. Like not with UConn, but it was UConn winning a lot. But 2 through 2025 was competing. So I mean, like that kind of got away from your question. But Maya Moore played with a lot of different. Just she was different movement, different swags. Played a lot of energy. I loved it. Like I loved it a lot.
Yeah, because to me, she's my goat just because what she has done beyond the court, like girl has probably one of the best winning percentages. She has like 85.5%, like one of the best winning percentages from like, high school to the professional, including college, professional, Olympics, everything. She's a winner overall. And, the fact that, I mean, she was the one that brought social justice really prominent to the forefront in the WNBA and sports. And also like the fact that I wish she could play again, but the fact that she was still in her prime years and she took a whole sabbatical break to like do something so much bigger than like the game and
That
utilize.
made me so sad though. I really wanted her to see her winning more championships and stuff. But I mean, she got a husband out of it, got her life out of it, kids. So I mean, she did her thing, and she left her mark. People still put her up there, so that's still not a bad thing.
She utilized. The thing is, when it comes to like when you are able to utilize the platform to do something so much bigger than sports, like you gotta give credit to where it's due. Like how like that's something that's so powerful. That's so.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
But my question for you is, as an athlete and a man, how when it comes to mental health, how important is mental health?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a psychology major, and I never believed in therapy, never really believed in that type of stuff. And like after going through a lot of stuff, like personally, and like mainly like relationships, kind of pushed me into therapy. But you start opening up about a lot of other things in your life, and like a lot of things that you like dealt with as a kid, and like things that you don't like, you kind of like suppress. And then when you go to therapy, you start talking about way more than just like a relationship or something like that. You start talking about like your parents and like your upbringing and like how things as a child may affect even that, whether it's sports, whether it's your social life, whether it's your relationship life, like and I think the biggest thing of mental health is like it has to come number one. Like it's coming from somebody who is struggling while I've been here in Morocco for sure. Like with my mental health, like a lot of stuff has been going on since I've been here, and I feel like you can't play when you're going through something when it's that bad. Basketball becomes so marginal. Like as much as it's a big part of like athletes' lives and our lives and my life in general, like it becomes so small when you can't even like process what you're going through day to day. So it's like I think mental health is a huge thing, and everybody does it differently. You know what I mean? Some people do positive things. Some people tend to do negative things when they're down. You know what I'm saying? And for me, I've always used basketball as my mental health, like my mental like cure. And since I've been here, it's kind of been the opposite. It's kind of been like a hinder because of how things have been going. Um, but also like I think it's gonna sound weird. I think everybody needs to go through it though. Like I feel like everybody needs to go through those tribulations to come through those trials, so you can like get through and have those trials and tribulations. You can't have one without the other. So I feel like everybody needs to go through those trials to like come out the other side and grow as a person, because then sports become easier. You still fall back in love with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I've gone through a couple things. Like my senior year was terrible. I had a really bad senior year. Like I had a really bad senior year in basketball, and like I almost quit. Like I was like, this is it. I've tapped out. I've done everything I could, and like I fell back in love with the game. You know what I mean? Like you have to find ways, whether it's basketball, personal life, is to learn how to grow as a person and get through those times, because at the end of the day they're going to happen to everybody, and they're going to happen again. Like you're going to go through a season and you're going to come back up and you're like, I'm back up, I'm back up, and something's going to happen. It's life. You're going to get knocked back down again. But I feel like the best way I've learned how to handle it is to just pray every day. Literally pray every day. Whatever you believe in, pray every day. Try to just give thanks for the things that you do have. Because I feel like when you're in those down moments, you start thinking about things you don't have, like whether that's people in your life, money, situations. You start looking at other people's lives and trying to like imitate and copy. Like I feel like what I try to do is like just be thankful for the things you do have, and just push towards your goals and do all you can for you, and like really lock in and center yourself. And I feel like once you get through that mental block, like basketball becomes easy, life becomes much easier. And if I was talking to anybody that's going through something, like you can do it. Like push through. Um, at the end of the day, God's got you. Just pray every day, and things will work out in your favor. That's what I've been doing, and honestly, this is the happiest I've been in a very, very long time. I'm very like at an even keel right now for the first time in at least 3 or 4 months.
Man, I just always wonder. My thing is, I've always wondered when it comes to mental health and men, like, why is it hard for like men to like open up and stuff? Like, I've always wondered why was it like, especially for athletes, because like I know, like, they're supposed to have to be strong all the time, but I've always wondered why they're so like afraid to be vulnerable and open up, like how they really feel.
I
Because
mean, that's
I
just
mean,
the world.
athletes are human first. So
Yeah, that's just the world though. I feel like, well, for me, like thankfully I had like the best dad in the world, and like me and my dad are very like he's like my best friend. He's like, my best man at my wedding. Like I want to name my son after my dad. Like that's like my best friend, and he was always very open with me, like very always supportive. If I ever needed any like emotion, to cry to him, come to him, talk to him about anything, he's always been there for me. So it never was. I don't have like a specific example where like he was like suck it up, but he also gave me real life like lessons too. He was like, yo, like I think I think a lot of especially black men are taught that you don't cry, you don't show emotion, you don't let anybody see you down because you can't be a weak man. And I feel like in some cases that is true. In some cases that is true. But like you said, everybody, we're people at the end of the day. We all have that emotion. We all like need to get it out. Like keeping that in is never good for anyone. You know what I'm saying? So um I feel like you said like why is it that way? I think it's just how the world is kind of, you know what I mean? Like think about men in power. Like just you don't see very many men cry up in high CEOs and businessmen. It's just kind of how like unfortunately how the world has always like made it seem like that's like the norm. And I think we're starting to trend away from that. Honestly, I think people are starting to understand like we all have emotion, we all can feel certain things, and I feel like we're starting to make sure that it's okay to feel how you feel. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a good thing. Everybody needs to get that out. At the end of the day, we all can't hold it in. The more you hold it in, the worse it's gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So try to have an outlet for somebody, whether that's a friend, a family member, write down in the journal. Like what I try to do when I was going through stuff is give myself voice memos, just talk. Like go on my phone and just talk. Like literally just get it out. And then the voice memos are good because then you can listen back and see your own growth. You know what I'm saying? So like kind of do your own voice logs. I've done that in the past and it's helped a lot. Um, but I guess it just depends on who you are and how you're raised and how you can get through it.
man, that's so deep for real. Like, cause my thing is like I always say, like I say, it's on my merch too, because my podcast officially has a merch. I always say like athletes are humans first because, to be honest, like been around the athletes world, like was a I mean athlete, student athlete manager for a mid major college. You know, people don't understand the stress that athletes have on them. Like imagine going to wake up at 5 in the morning for workouts, early workouts, and then having books and stuff, and then everything else. And sometimes then they have to perform at the best level, and sometimes it can cause a performance anxiety if they don't perform at a specific certain way or a certain system and stuff. So I think that's another thing that I feel like a lot of people need to understand. Like, or example, like say a big huge game where the game is on the line and you accidentally mess up, and all of a sudden you have all these crazy people going on social media and just bad mouthing, and that takes another toll on these athletes that they already got a lot on their plate. Like they don't
And
need.
they think about themselves too. Like as much as people want to talk down, like it, if they feel it, they know. Like they like it's not like we're at like we get it. Like if I miss a free throw down one and we lose, like I know I messed up. I know it was me. Like you don't gotta go on and be like you Devin, you you can't shoot free throws. Like trust me, I know. I was the one. You're the one just watching it. Imagine being the one that experienced it. So I feel like that's kind of self-inflicted too. It's like pressure from other people, and we have an expectation of ourselves that is high. So when we don't meet that high expectation, then even ourselves we're down about it. You know what I'm saying? It's the
Yeah,
added pressure.
because I don't know if you've seen this not too long ago. So there was like two games at the ACC championship, and I've like noticed how people were going crazy. So like there was a Pitt and Notre Dame game where this guy like they should have gone to overtime in the Pitt and Notre Dame game, but they called a foul that should have never been called a foul against Pitt. And the comments was crazy how they were telling this Pitt guy, the guy from Pitt, he needed to transfer. He needed to go just enter the transfer portal. Like he was terrible, and it led to like you can't find this man's Instagram. Like it's been deactivated, or like the whole Carolina Duke game where the guy from Carolina he accidentally took a step and it caused a lane violation where the guy that made the shot didn't count. So it's like, and then
Yeah.
you see like some of these players crying in on TV, like knowing they messed up, and like that's just the humanization of what an athlete is. Like people need to understand that athletes, what they're doing is a job. It's not who they are; it's what they do. And it's like I think I don't know. Maybe I'm just
No,
maybe folks, some folks ain't ready for that conversation.
no. I think that's well for me. It's gonna sound weird. Like I want to be known for basketball. In a weird way. Like in a weird like if I like got like knock on wood something were to happen to me. I want people to remember me as a good person, a good friend, like a good son, stuff like that. But like I put a lot of work in for basketball. I would love to people to be like, that dude was cold. Like he was this and that. He worked super hard. Like
Hmm.
obviously I'm more than a basketball player, but I do think basketball is a part of who I am. Like if you go on my Instagram, what is there? I don't got no pictures of me going out. I don't got no flexing picture will be on a car with some money. I don't got me
It's
like
just straight
it's basketball.
hooping.
It's just that's what I am. Like I feel like as much as like I definitely have other interests, like I work with kids and I train kids. I have a degree in psychology. I've been working with kids from kindergarten to high school since I was in high school, and like I do a lot of great things. I think in my community and stuff. Like basketball is what I want to be known for. So it's like a mix. I understand what people say when they say they're not just basketball, and I don't want people to just to look at me like that. But for me, like I'm cool with that. Like I put in a lot of time and effort to be where I am today, and I don't think anybody could have told me sophomore year of high school that I'd be where I'm at right now. Other than me, and they would have believed me.
Do
Like
you feel like
I'll
this?
never forget is a teacher told me that I was in eighth grade life career skills class. We had to do a project on what you wanted to be when you grew up. So like my teacher had a big box of magazines, cut the stuff up, put it on a magazine, have a presentation about it. And like, guess what I picked? I did Sports Illustrated, took out LeBron, Dwayne Wade, Kobe. I want to be a pro basketball player. She gave me an F and told me to redo it. And to this day, I remember that. And I literally have a jersey for her when I get home. I swear. Literally, right now. I have one right there. Wait for her. I'm gonna sign it and everything.
Well, you could just send me that jersey. She don't deserve. You could just send me that jersey. I'll get that jersey. You know, because I feel like folks that say that stuff, like, you ain't gonna get it. Like, don't do that. Like,
yeah, but
you
I
can
don't know. I'm
still
a little petty. It's a little driving force. Even 8th grade me still thinks about that. But just like that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I mean. When I mean like basketball is who I am. Like that story is like what I mean by who I am. Like to think that I failed a project to where I am now, from just 8th grade kid to being in Morocco, a whole other country. I've traveled the world. I've been in Mexico, Scotland, Morocco. I've been to Charlotte just for pro basketball in general, getting paid to play basketball. Like from a kid from small 1,500 people in my town, 54 people in my class. Like that don't happen. So like that's why I'm gonna keep going. You know.
And now you're telling your story about it on here. So
I'm trying to. That's why I'm excited. Like I would love to do it more and put on for the little bros that look up to me and stuff like that. Like that means that's why I mean like I want to be a basketball player too. Like I think that the lessons I can teach and learn, I've learned and I can teach through basketball are more than basketball. But I think that's what I want to be known for. Like little sidetrack, but like I have a kid I trained and last year he didn't make JV and he was like hurt. And it's tough because like they all go to the YMCA. So like all these kids all go to YMCA, you know, 20 of them make it, and then the 5 kids that don't make it are sitting there playing with them, and they're like, "Damn, like I suck. Like I'm done playing." I made this kid come to the gym. Like I was like, "No, you're not quitting, bro. Like who cares about JV? Like at the end of the day, you can average 85 points on JV. No college coach coming to watch a JV basketball game. So who cares at the end of the day? So if you get 0 or you average 80, no one's gonna care. So like, and this year he tried out, he made the team. They won a championship, went undefeated.
So my question for you is like, when it came, so would you say basketball has helped you like be able to not only tell your story, but you mentioned about training kids, how how important and meaningful has it been for you to utilize the game that you played for the longest time to be able to utilize it for a bigger purpose, like including with training with kids around the world?
It's probably like I kind of told my dad this before, like I'm starting to like training and coaching as much as playing. Like I wish I could do, and I haven't even done it in like a full capacity yet where I can like commit my time. Like I'm kind of doing it as like a side thing, and I've enjoyed it this much. Um, I think coming from where I'm from, like I'm not trying to be like cocky or arrogant. I'm not in North Carolina. I'm not in a big place where there's North Mecklenburg and all this place and all these crazy schools that go play at Wake Forest and have all like I see all Tev's and Bobby stories stuff like that. But they play in these big schools and they have a bunch of D1 guys like Tev, Devin, like Red. All these dudes play, and where I'm from, that's not a thing. Like that's like dudes don't play. Even like a bunch of my little bros that like I know and have like worked with and stuff. Some of them don't even play in Division 3. You know what I'm saying? So for me to have had a successful college career, in my opinion, and then to have been a pro athlete to like continue to grow and keep having this career that I'm having, like it's really important to me to like show the kids that are coming up that like, bro, if I can do it, coming from how bad I was and how hard I worked, like if I can do even a sliver of positive in your life and a slither of like helping you get better, because like I said before, not trying to be like arrogant, I didn't have no help. We don't have lab cities, we don't have a TEV where I'm at, we don't have trainers. Like how I got better is I go on YouTube, look up ball handling drills, shooting drills. Me and my dad would go do it. Like I go on TikTok and even to this day I still go on Instagram, TikTok. I have a whole folder on all 3 platforms of like drills and workouts, and I'm just gonna go home and just do them. Like I never had someone like me that was willing to help me. Like I'm trying to help my community. At the end of the day, like I want my area to be known for like this kid came from here. Like that's why I always put on from where I'm from. Like Ithaca and Newfield, New York is like it's my home. Like I want to get tatted actually this summer of like an area code because like it's like where I'm from and and I think I would love to give the next kid the opportunity to go further than me. If I can do anything, even a little bit, even if I give them some advice, work out with them, like push them to be great, then I think that's the biggest thing I can do and the best thing I can do, even more than making a lot of money or winning a championship overseas. I think pushing on for the next person so that they can also do that for the next person is the biggest thing. And I love it. It's like my favorite thing in the world. I'm so excited to get back home and start working with my little brother. They already hit me up and stuff. So as soon as I get back, I'm back in that mode. I'm very excited for the summer for sure.
How would you describe your journey?
Man, I would probably say an emotional roller coaster. Like that, that's what I'll say for sure. There's been a lot of ups, a lot of ups. Like the people I've met, the places I've been, the traveling, like um, the sights I've seen for sure. But then some of the downs, like the coaches and injuries, and um, like the frustrating times, the times I wanted to quit and stuff like that. Like an emotional roller coaster for sure. But like the biggest blessing and something I'm so thankful that so like proud of the 18-year-old kid that didn't quit his freshman year after his coach almost like ruined the game for him, to even the 23, 24-year-old kid that almost quit a senior year too. So from freshman year to senior year and everything in between, and from freshman year to now, high school to now, it's been amazing. And I hope there's many more great moments to come for sure. And I believe there will be for sure.
So I always ask my guests this question, but it's since this is usually the men version, I always say. So Bonafide means authentic, unique, but for the men's, for you, Devin Cooper, what makes you authentic or what makes your story stand out?
I think that I'm much more relatable to the common hooper. I would say that's what makes me stand out, like the relatability. Um, I wasn't the tallest guy in the world when I was in high school. I didn't have 1,000 points in high school. Didn't win a state championship. Wasn't first team all state. Um, I probably don't hold very many records in my high school. Never all conference in college. Never really given the opportunity that I felt like I deserved. And I still pushed through and prevailed. I feel like relatability. I feel like it's hard. Not that you can't relate to the Division 1 1,000 point scorer, all time leading scorer in their high school, bunch of offers, like 45-inch vertical. You can relate to that guy, maybe. Some people might be able to relate to that guy, but that wasn't me. I had to grind for mine. Like, and not saying no people the person that was D1 didn't have to grind, but it's. I tell my friends all the time that like my teammates that I played with that play Division 1, and I try telling them like I'm not like coming down on your grind, but my grind is different. Like I said before, like you had access to things. Your grind was more self motivated, or like not my grind was more self motivated. Your grind was more like put in your lap to go do. It's you had more of a choice to grind. Or like more of an ability to push yourself as much as you did. I had to do that myself. Like I had 3 jobs, working from 6:30 to 11, getting off at 11, going to lift from 11 to 12, and then going to shoot on an outside double rim court until 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you were in the gym 5 hours before me, getting on the gun, getting 1,000 shots up. You know what I'm saying? Like I've had to. Not saying those grinds are any different. You still got to work hard too. But I think the relatability with my story, if somebody ever lets me like just tell my story and then gives them a little bit of motivation to keep going or to push for what they want, whether it's basketball or just life in general, I feel like I'm way more relatable than just a common hooper. You know, a lot of guys that are playing overseas, win D1, got a great agent, 1,000 points, won a bunch of championships, got a bunch of rings. Like I don't got none of that. I just got hard work and effort. So I mean, that's the main thing. I would say relatability for sure.
Ooh, that's too real. I swear. You know, you let them know, like, just sometimes when you are relatable, you are actually just giving that person, like, hey, you know, I've been through that person. Like, I know what's it like. You know, I'm going through it. So, you know, experience is the best teacher in life. So,
For sure. For sure.
so Devin, can you let the folks know how and where they can follow you if there's any upcoming events happening for you?
Okay, so I have a YouTube channel. My YouTube, my Instagram, my Snapchat are all the same. Dcoop underscore the Hooper. I have game day vlogs. I have travel vlogs. I have summer league videos, 3-on-3 videos. Um, what else do I have? I have a bunch of stuff on my YouTube. Kind of like a little bit of my story, like more broken down. I started my YouTube channel about a year ago. I have a couple of videos in the stash right now, but I've just been kind of like going through my own stuff and kind of just getting out of it now. So I got to post 2 more videos before I go home. I'm gonna have summer leagues this summer posted up, workout videos, all type of stuff. I'm trying to build my brand a little bit on YouTube. Follow me on Instagram, dcoop underscore the Hooper, Snapchat too, dcoop underscore the Hooper. Recent events, I think that I'm playing another pro-am this summer, so I'm going to have highlights and video of that. I'm really excited for 2 summer leagues. I'm going to be coaching this summer, so I'm going to try to do some videos on that. Vlog all of that. I'm trying to vlog my whole, like I have my little journey. It's called D3 to Pro. About 10 episodes in right now. So yeah, if you guys want to follow along on just this lonely little guy, I'm here doing my thing, you know.
Y'all heard it from the man first. Follow Devin Cooper at dcoop the Hooper. And be sure to check out the live replay of Bonafide Her podcast, episode 119 afterwards. And thank you guys for tuning in. And big thank you to Devin for coming on to share your story. Thank you guys. You're always
Thank you. I
appreciated.
appreciate it.
Peace.
Thank you. I appreciate it.